Barry, Copetown Woods. Absolutely. How close am I holding this thing?
I think right about here.
Right about here? Okay, cool.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
And then if it, you can't really see, it is sunny out though. It's nice, man.
Yeah, it's
nice here. We're at Copetown Woods, so little outside Hamilton.
Yeah, just outside Hamilton. Absolutely.
Okay. Can we get a proper intro? Can we do a proper Barry intro?
Yeah. So good afternoon, Barry, Copetown Woods.
We needed that. We can't kick it off properly without that. So yeah, we're here, Copetown Woods. I think debatably the best value track in Canada. I think we've talked about that, or it's been talked about.
It's been talked about. I don't talk about it a lot. It's in the conversation. I feel like it should be in the conversation, but I mean our tee sheets are full, so I think that speaks volumes.
So one of the cool things about today is that it's December 16th that we're recording this. So hopefully Mack can flip a quick edit on this, get it out. But it's beautiful. Sun's coming out. It's not too windy, as obviously you can hear. We're talking into mics. We're sitting out on a patio, which is pretty cool. So this is, I played a lot of golf courses, so is Barry. This is Jeter course, but it's one of the better patios that you can find. So we're overlooking right now the 9th green and the 18th green.
9, double green, kind of over behind your head there is 2 and 18. 18's on the far side.
That's right.
10 tees out in front of us.
Okay, that's right. And 10 goes this way.
Yep.
So from where we are, the beautiful clubhouse, we'll try and get some B-roll, or I'll get a shot in there behind it. I'll probably beg Barry for some drone footage because he's got some good drone footage. But just a beautiful clubhouse. And then again, December 16th, we're out here golfing. You're open tomorrow as well.
Open tomorrow as well. Looks like there's gonna be a bit of a rain in the forecast, so the kind of numbers are tapering off a little bit. But we were open last Friday, Saturday. Sold out tee sheets. Obviously, a small window of time to be able to get out there and book a time with potential frost in the morning. And it gets dark at 5 o'clock on a day like today. Right. That's kind of overcast. It's like 4:30, 4:40. It gets dark, and you're looking at your watch because you want to get out and sneak a few holes in.
A few holes, yeah.
But it's and then we were open yesterday. Yesterday was beautiful, sunny. We had a DJ on the putting green because why not in December?
Why not?
It was wicked.
So I guess one of the reasons why I would be here, Barry, and like why we're doing a pod is the question is kind of like why you got it open December 16th. You could close it up. We've talked about quite a few events. Like I've come to the Mike Weir event here. You've always you had Mack Boucher's event here. So a little while ago, Mack put that actually out on his YouTube channel, which he's just started. And then you had the Bet Rivers
Take a Chance Cup.
Yep. All these unique events, and now we're open on December 16th. So obviously you have the power. It's your course, but why? Like why or what's your thought process? How did these things come into Barry's head?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously I've got a vested interest in what goes on here at Copetown Woods, and we're not a corporately owned, we're not a multi-course operator that has 20 golf courses that have people working at it that
right.
might just be easier just to stay home on December 16th. I mean, my wife would certainly prefer that, and finish up some chores around the house and some Christmas shopping. But at the end of the day, this is a long-term vision for me and a long-term plan, and we've now been open for 20 years here, and bringing these events and opening on a day like today, because exactly what I said about a DJ on the putting green in December, because why not? Right. I mean, it's not going to hurt the golf course. The only thing is if people don't fix their ball marks, which I put it out there for golfers today to come out at 2:30 and play 9 holes, that they're going to come out and play for free if they fix a dozen ball marks on each green for me. So, and that filled up real quick. So, it's to be a little bit different, not necessarily to be different from other golf courses, but it's to make it enjoyable and to have some fun and, make it great for obviously for golfers, but for our staff too. I mean, it makes it for a fun place to come to work if it's not the same thing, repetitive,
Right.
boring every day.
So obviously, like, your staff too, they're here.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
you've got people that like live locally that are willing to come in, and I'm sure they appreciate that. Everybody wants a few extra bucks around the holidays and stuff like that.
Yep.
But so anybody who hasn't watched our first podcast with Barry, can you give us kind of an explanation? You mentioned it. You've been open for 20 years. Again, I'm gonna get a couple shots of the clubhouse and stuff. It's stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. Some of the nicest practice facilities here as well. Course is super unique. Always in Super Pete is Super Pete for a reason.
Yep.
Like, he's not just
Got this place
Superintendent Pete. He's just a super guy. Obviously, is doing an incredible
got this place
job.
dialed all the time.
So, can you give us an idea, Barry, of like how you started? Like, I know you'll explain the family, kind of how the origins of Copetown Woods. I
Sure.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so 20 years ago. So this is our 20th season, the end of our 20th anniversary, I guess 21st season, really. So we opened in 2003, late 90s. My dad first brought up the idea of taking a piece of our property and turning it into a golf course. So I grew up on a 500-acre broccoli farm. So literally everything you see behind us here was all broccoli. So I grew up working on the farm, driving tractor, harvesting broccoli, and really specifically actually where we're sitting right now, where this clubhouse is, kind of sits a little bit of on a kind of a high knoll, super sandy soil. So all of the sand that is in our waste bunkers, all of the sand that was used to build our greens, everything came out of here. So when we took where we knew where the clubhouse was going to be, this is where we mined essentially all of the sand out of to be able to use on the golf course. Not great for growing vegetables. Didn't ever provide a good yield. It was really, intermittent growing, but great for a golf course because it drains so well.
Right.
And so, instead of selling selling the property, my dad said, well, what can I do to make some money off of it? At that time, he had just started golfing himself and, thought, well, it was kind of the Tiger boom is, really kind of when that was, late 90s. Took a few years to get the zoning changed, all the permits. And then first bulldozer was on the ground, shaping the 9th green here on April 1st, 2002. Clubhouse was started in December of 2002, and everything was open. Clubhouse built, everything opened June 2nd, 2003.
Okay, so that's what, 6 weeks after Mike Weir wins the Masters as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect timing, I guess, right?
Exactly.
So when we go through, like, if you haven't checked out Copetown Woods, go over to the Instagram. It's in the handle below, so you can, or the handle's in the description below, show notes, so you can check out some of Barry's drone footage and stuff. I think it's over on 6 is like the main feature of the waste bunkers. Yeah, 6 and 16. Okay, yep. So it's super unique, like no other. It kind of looks like some courses in like PI almost. Like
PI. There's
spots,
some courses like this in the Carolinas, and
yep.
I mean it's all obviously purposely built in this way, open farmland, to limit the amount of water usage, right? And so to limit the amount of water usage, the amount of the more waste bunkers and fescue areas, out of play areas that we didn't need to water, limited the amount of water that we needed to be able to use, which obviously helped us in terms of getting the permits, but making it a sustainable golf course.
So there's still are you guys still farming? Right?
No. So they so my dad and uncle, they were partners in the farm. They sold the farm 7 years ago. No, more than that. 2014 or 15 they sold it, and just have the golf course now.
Okay, so like I know some of the properties in here are yours as well, right?
Yeah.
So is it close? Like it's close for you coming in?
Yeah, I live in Dundas, so I'm like
right.
At 5 in the morning, it's 11 minutes, and going home it's 13.
Right.
So
okay,
it's not bad.
So is this kind of, you said it's the long-term vision. So Copetown Woods is here to stay, obviously, like you want it to be here to stay. Yep. So the idea is this is a public course. There's no memberships.
Yep.
Is that something that you kind of want to see all of these events? Like you have the pitch and putt.
Yep.
I think the broccoli patch that you call
broccoli
it.
patch. Yep.
So are these the events that we're going to see from Copetown Woods over, the next 20 years or so?
Yeah, I mean, that plus others plus who knows? I mean, really, it's kind of, if there's certain things that come to mind or people come to me with different concepts, I'm not afraid to try something new and do something a little bit different. And, I personally took 7 years away from the golf course, and from 2012 to 19, 2013 to 19, I took 7 years away, went to a sports marketing agency where did a few things, managed a few portfolios, but the last thing that I did there was managing RBC's global golf portfolio. So I had a team of 7 people. We basically worked on anything Canadian Open, RBC Heritage, all of the Team RBC player deals. So we would run different events. We would go to, run 30 other events aside from those PGA Tour events with 2 to 7 tour players, RBC, high net worth clients. So we would go and run these events. And basically I would go into golf courses and always in the back of my mind would have, kind of the golf course management hat on of like, that lens on of, okay, what are they doing? What can we take and use? And you may go to a place like the Floridian in West Palm Beach, which is like swanky as shit. Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
But, they have a million times more money than we have. But there are things that they do that we can do, right? And there are things that when, I went there, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, yeah, they could maybe use what we're doing. And so always had that on. And so when I came back here, it was really of the mindset of let's elevate the profile of this place. Let's humanize it a little bit. And, which is kind of where I came into play of, the videos that it's kind of started slow and realized, how much people liked me making fun of myself and not being afraid to look stupid. And it seems to work. I mean, again, my wife, thinks I'm a complete idiot, and so does my old man. But I mean, the parking lot is full. So
parking lot's full, tee sheet's full, and it's December 16th. If we can remind anybody, this will be out hopefully in the next week or two. Take some time to edit. It's not a one-man show. Bryce is sometimes around, but not for the edits. But speaking of how you look, Barry, we got our friends over at the Jack podcast. I know you know these guys. I think you were on their pod, right? I think I listened to that one around.
I was. It was during COVID. It was like when we were shut down, and I actually think I was set up down on the 9th green and did an interview with them when there was it was a beautiful end of May day and there was no golfers out here.
So I was, and then I know that you were on like CTV and stuff like that. It was a weird time, so let's not go back there. But what kind of hair products does he use to ensure that salon quality flow?
Salon quality, I mean...
You put a hat on.
Sorry, did he say salon? Did they say salon quality flow or salon quality fro? Because this would be more considered an afro.
Either way, it might be a typo.
It's you know what? It's whatever is the cheapest at Shoppers Drug Mart. I appreciate the comments. I don't believe it for a second that it's a comment, but I'm okay with that. And it's whatever doesn't make it look like super frizzy and gnarly and dry. Now, salon quality flow is to my right here. It's getting a little out of control right
now.
Epic
this stuff
is what it is. So thanks, boys. I appreciate that.
We also got a how dare you, which I'm sure you're getting from. This is more or less a joke, but I'm sure you're getting that from a lot of people. Like, what are you thinking being open on December 16th? Like, or we're 9 days out from Christmas, but it's 7 degrees outside right now, and it was like I think 10 or 11 yesterday. So
it got up to 13 here yesterday.
13, yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
Got another one too. We'll grab. 21 East Designs asked, will he always keep the course reasonable in public?
Yeah.
So we did kind of touch on that. So I think, like, if I can, as a golfer, if I can maybe lend my thoughts to what he's saying when it's reasonable. Obviously, we've talked about how, I think I entitled our last podcast, the best value course in Canada, ? It's been talked about. I've talked about it with some friends that are on like the Score Golf panels and stuff like that, and said, like, you guys have played this course. What do you think? This is like the green fee. There's no high private membership fees, membership dues, anything like that, driving the prices up. That it's not. So I think that's what he's saying by reasonable. Yeah. So is that the idea? Like we're trying to, collect a golf market of players that might not be able to, pay that yearly membership fee or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't say it's as much that as it is the market where we are, the market that we currently sit in, right? We're in a unique spot where, east of us we've got Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga, where we get a lot of traffic from there. We have a ton of golfers from there. So for them, we are amazing value. 4 people can jump in a car and save $200 between the four of them,
Right.
or more, depending on where they're coming from or where they would normally play. Whereas to the west of us, we've got Cambridge, Brantford, and further out west that way, where we're the expensive one. And so we're in a spot where we don't want to be out of touch with those to our west, and we don't want to be. We'd love to raise our rates. I'd love to be able to charge more money, to be able to make more money. At the end of the day, and I've said this a million times before, we're a business and we're here to make money.
Of course.
But what we're not here to do is we're not here to gouge people. We're not here to do anything like that. And it's no surprise, with the cost of everything going up over the last couple of years, and inflation's one thing, and but obviously minimum wage, right? Minimum wage doesn't just up minimum wage. Everybody that is makes a few bucks more than minimum wage, once the minimum wage goes up, well, then you need to bump them. So everybody kind of the tide rises, right? So everybody kind of goes up, and so that obviously we have. In the prime of the season, we're operating with over 100 staff, on our roster throughout the the weeks, and so we need to make sure that we're covering ourselves, and at the end of the day, again, like I said, making money. But we know kind of where we sit. We're trying to be somebody that that's fair, and we've got what we feel is a really good product for a good value, and we want to keep. We're going to stick with that.
So when you got people coming in, or public calling in, whatever it may be, what's the perfect golfer for you? What's the idea of the perfect patron to come and visit the course?
Honestly, somebody that's just going to come out and enjoy themselves and just respect what we're doing out here. We put a thing out. The golf industry as a whole doesn't do a good enough job, has never done a good enough job, and we would be at the top of this list of ensuring that we are, kind of, I guess, covering our asses in terms of if a golfer books a foursome, and COVID made a massive difference for the golf industry. So if if you were making face masks, if you were in the plexiglass industry, or you were a golf course owner, you benefited from COVID. And so, I will never hide behind that. Where we, kind of see ourselves, from after that point, our tee sheets are full, our parking lot's full. So you can only do so much more. So instead of raising the rates, what can we do to help offset some other costs? Well, one of the biggest costs that we always face, and public golf courses face, are no-shows.
Right.
And so, again, this comes down to the respect factor that I was talking about before, where if somebody books a foursome and they show up with three, well, that green fee, we can never make that money back. That doesn't go back on a shelf that we can sell at a discount later on. We can never make that money back. So what I did is, I think a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I said, what, we should raise our rates. Everything's going up. We should raise our rates. But guess what? We're not going to raise our rates. And here, I put a video out and said,
yeah, I remember this. Yeah,
we're going to keep our rates the same, but this is on you as a golfer as well. So it's basically kind of that mutual respect, where the actual example I gave was, if you have 4 tickets to a hockey game or a baseball game, whatever, sporting event, concert, if you have 4 tickets to that, and your buddy Doug calls you and says that his dog barfed on his carpet, that he has to stay home and clean it up, you don't go back to the box office asking for that money back, right? You would never even think of that. You would just, if you can scalp it on the street, maybe, but that seat's going to sit empty. You've lost that money. You get Doug to pay you back for it, and off you go. Golfers haven't really, some don't think of it the same way, but it really is the same. Whether it's a hotel, and the airline industry, a sporting event, there is that inventory it vanishes after. So the respect of when golfers come in, we don't want to charge no show fees, short show fees. I think I only charged 2 or 3 people this year that didn't respect what we were doing, that didn't like that we were, that we would even think about doing that.
Yeah.
They couldn't fathom that we would put ourselves in the same, arena, if you will, as those other industries. But it's really the same thing. And so people that come here respect what we're doing, respect our staff, enjoy what we've got here, and bring other people back the next time. It doesn't matter if you're young, you're old, male, female, none of that matters. Come out to enjoy golf. And the one thing I say to all my staff, we are in a unique position in golf, and especially here, every single person that shows up to play golf here comes in the driveway with a smile on their face. They're either away from work, they're away from chores at home. Today is going to be their day. Today is going to be the day that they're going to shoot their best score. Today is the day that they might get a hole in one. Like they're feeling it with their 7-iron. They might get a hole in one today. Now they're going to go out and shoot 107 and, want to maybe hate the world after. But we have that unique situation where they're coming in like that. If we can leave them feeling as happy as what they arrived with, we are in a good spot and we will continue to be successful.
I can attest to this because I played around here with Barry in the cart with me. It was last year, and we thought I might have made one. I think is it number 6?
It was number 7. It was number 7. And I mean, listen. I mean, this is like. I mean, I preach this stuff. So I mean, listen. Where's my camera?
Yeah, you can speak directly into the left one.
It wasn't as close as what he thinks, but I was making him believe. And that's what we do. It's the magic of Christmas, which is where we're at right now.
Pete hit the pin on me, like over the back left ridge. And as we drove up, we couldn't see it. Now, I've said this before on numerous pods. This is number 160 something now. So I've said I am way too optimistic of a golfer for my skill level, especially now where my skill level is. Like, I think that every time Bryce said this too, like his brother almost hit a hole in one. And like, no matter what, like I always think it's going in or it is in. Until I see it's not. I'm
absolutely.
Innocent until proven guilty kind of thing, right? So I think it's in, and then if it's not, then at that point in time we go to the next par 3, and if somebody hits a good shot, I think it's in until we can tell that it's not. So I think, for me as a golfer, I'm coming out to play what I think is like one of the most premium public tracks. The idea is that it's an experience. Like, you come here, the clubhouse is beautiful. The drive up is like Magnolia Lane kind of thing. Like, it is really cool. I took some B-roll on the way in, so hopefully I remember to drop that here in the edit. But it's just a good experience. Barry is really relaxed. You come in, you can say hello, kind of chat for a bit. Allows me to come up on short notice, do a podcast. We're just out here on the patio again, December 16th. And the idea is that everybody here, like, we've been talking to people as they go by, they're just out here having a good time, and it's a bit of a different vibe here for sure. Things are pretty casual. We're not too worried about your press collar and stuff like that before the round.
No top button Tuesdays allowed around here.
Yeah, so that's kind of the feeling here, and I think a lot of golfers, especially like you mentioned COVID and how much you have benefited from that. I think a lot of us have benefited. I've got a lot of friends who started playing golf because of COVID, so this is one of the spots we like to come. Now, I'm an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes away, and to me, like Barry said, I've come up here a few times now, and we brought a carload, and yeah, you can save, like you said, $100, couple $100 with a foursome. So if you're in the area, definitely come by and check it out. But yeah, I'm just kind of like amazed that we're out here on December 16th, and we got some golfers out here. The tee sheet's full. We had Weeksy out here, who's been on the pod I think 3 times. He does our annual Masters preview with Bob Weeks. So he's done that with us a few times. He was out here yesterday. Duthie was out here yesterday with them. Out here again, I guess.
And Weeks for the first time. I've known Bob for a long time. Yesterday was the first. So December 15th is the first time he decides to come out here. So I gave him shit for it. But I'm hoping that he walked away pissed off that he hasn't been here before. And he definitely seemed to enjoy it. And so, but yeah, no, and it's you get kind of people from all over the place that come. I mean, obviously right now, we're a handful of one of a handful of golf courses open. So, but we've had people driving from Ajax and Richmond Hill, and I mean they're driving from all over the place to come out and play. And I would say 30% of the people that have played in the last week, the 5 days that we're going to be open in December, 30% of them have never been here before.
That's great to see.
And every single one of them is like, I had no idea it was going to be like this. Yeah. And I think some people, and obviously not a lot of people would know the backstory and the history of it, but there's those that do know that former farm, family owned and operated, they don't necessarily come expecting this. Well, there's a big putt.
Big putt made right
big
now.
Big putt made right now. They don't come expecting what this is. And this isn't, it's not the best golf course. We didn't build this to be the best golf courses, the best golf course in Ontario, or the best public golf course in Ontario. We are a good public golf course that is super playable. It's in good condition all the time. But if we spent twice as what we spent twice as much as what we spent on it to build it, we would have to charge twice as much. And so again, that was, kudos to my dad and Dick Kirkpatrick, who designed the golf course, 3 years ago when everything was kind of in process. I was like 19, 20 at the time. I didn't have a clue. When we opened this golf course, I came to open it on the golf, manage the golf side of it. And I didn't have a clue. Like, I golfed every once in a while, and my dad was a farmer. Right. My sister worked in the food, worked as a server before. She came and opened up the F&B side. And literally to this day, everything is run on common sense. We don't operate on budgets. How do you forecast this in your budget? You wouldn't. And it would be great for the budget, but we don't operate as a normal what a normal business would with budgets. It's because if the sun's shining, the parking lot better be full.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. And I know that you said in a past pod, so I would encourage anybody to go, scroll through the past ones. You can hear Barry kind of the inception of the groundbreaking, how they moved the
big putt, boys. Big putt out there.
Yeah, somebody made a big one.
Big putt. We're taping a pod here, but we heard that putt.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Well done.
Yeah, we might be able to get it in the background if we look over to our right here, just over Barry's left shoulder. But I'd encourage you to go through the old podcasts that I've done with Barry, and you kind of talked about the inception of the groundbreaking and building the course and all of the things that went into that. I don't want to take up your whole day with that, but how are we looking for, again, December 16th? Are we just going day by day at this point?
We're going day by tomorrow. We're going till tomorrow, and then I'm done. And I've actually told a bunch of people that have showed up here today that they're like, oh, are you gonna, will you stay open? Like if it's nice, and end of next week, will you stay open? We're a week Monday is, tomorrow. A week tomorrow is Christmas Eve.
Right.
I don't know exactly what kind of language I can use on this podcast.
Go for it. Yeah.
But no, I'm fucking done.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm done after tomorrow.
What if it's,
and I'm like,
okay.
I'm
16 degrees, so that would be what? That'd be 63 degrees Fahrenheit, 62 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Celsius, sunny, the afternoon of Christmas Day. Is Barry coming?
That's where we just turn into that. That's where we gouge. That's where I gouge. That's where I'm like $200 cash. Nobody's stepping foot in the clubhouse. I've got a fruit stand cash box at the first tee.
Okay.
$200 cash. Go play, enjoy, go back home, have turkey dinner with your family, and I'm going to buy myself something frilly.
Love that. Love that, man. There's no budgets around here, so Barry's just buying himself whatever the hell he wants with that money.
Mack here for Manscaped. Gentlemen, our friends over at Manscaped have been working night and day to bring you a below-the-waist grooming experience like none other with their brand new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. We're talking about a next-generation trimmer with interchangeable blade heads for whatever shave a mind can imagine. AI is cool, but I think this might be the best technology advancement the world has ever seen. Upgrade your grooming game to the Ultrasphere this year by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping using the promo code OTSGolf. High tech for low prices. Manscaped OTS Golf for 20% off plus free shipping. We'll see you in the Ultrasphere.
All right, couple more minutes with Barry here. What's on tap for next year? The season will be here before we know it. So when we close down the doors, could be tomorrow. You might not be able to play here by the time this pod gets out, but what do we do in the off season kind of leading into next year? Do you have any events that we can talk about that you're working on for next season yet?
Nothing locked into specifically to the calendar that I can tell you exactly what we're going to do right now. For us, we're going to restaurants open until tomorrow's the last day, so we're shut down after tomorrow. We clean everything up.
I tried.
Get everything kind of shut down.
I tried.
Get everything shut down and all of our staff. It's a long season for us. It's a long season for all of our staff and for our managers to be here. And typically, we'll have some servers and that are in here, but for the most part, it's our salaried manager staff that is kind of operating things right now. And so we'll shut down. Not see the light of day at this place, between Christmas and New Year's. Maybe come in and check, do a walkthrough, make sure that that everything's, nothing's flooded or anything like that in the basement. But and then we essentially give our staff a lot, as much time off as they need in January. That's the time to kind of recharge and relax, and then we'll get back at it really February. And month of January, I'm typically the only one around here. Super Pete and his assistant Paul, they'll be over at the shop ripping equipment apart and maintaining it, putting it back together, and just getting it ready to go for the season. And then February we'll start really kind of back nose to the grindstone for recruiting and trying to get the best staff possible. And we've been really lucky, knock on wood, with a lot of good returning staff. And again, if you create a good environment that they're going to make some money, they're going to enjoy themselves. We've been fortunate to have some amazing staff return year after year. So hopefully we get that again, and then and then we get into March, and we hope for days like today that we can get going right away. So
what kind of people are you looking for? I know you post something up at the beginning of each season. If you're looking to get some people to come in, work at the course, what kind of people are we looking at?
And sorry, before that, I don't know if the cameras are going to get that like waft of like smoke that just came out of the hood fan in the kitchen, like wafting out like crispy chicken and burger scents out onto the golf course. So that's something that we pump out like every few minutes just to
it's like the oxygen in the Vegas casinos.
It's
or
like
whatever.
the oxygen in the Vegas casinos. It's the birds chirping as you walk into the Masters at Augusta National. So what we do from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, when the people that we're looking for are literally just good people that are outgoing, that can have and hold a conversation with somebody, and have good work ethic. We're not, I mean, my dad as a farmer, I mean, he is he wants to see people that are, don't stop moving, and they're getting their hands dirty, and that's not every job around here, obviously, but really it's at the end of the day, we hire a lot of people that this is their first job. So whether they're a server or back shop or maybe even pro shop, some turf, dishwashers, that kind of thing, a lot of times it's their first job. And so if people remember going out for their first job, you put a resume together, and you put a resume together that includes the volunteer hours that you spent helping coach your little brother's baseball team, and maybe you worked at the booth at the arena, and all that stuff doesn't really do a whole lot, or you umpired or whatever. I mean, it does, but at the end of the day, if you can come in and, I mean, I can tell you in 7 seconds if the person's going to be a fit or not. It's that just a good person that is that's willing to put in the effort when needed, and is willing to wants to work at a fun place, and somebody that is a golfer that can come out and take advantage of being able to come out and play some free golf, and why not?
That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
So how do we book around if we want to play Copetown Woods?
Yeah, so we do, majority of our bookings are done online. Copetownwoods.com is a website. That's kind of the place to go. And so, a lot of the information that I put out, I've been pretty hard in trying to grow our Instagram to be able to share information that can get out to people quick. It's the easiest for me. I literally turn on my camera and Barry, Copetown Woods, and it's like
we did it right at the start.
There's I know there's a lot of people that are probably sick of me, and but we continue to grow the following, and it, if we get a day that it's terrible weather, a terrible forecast, and we end up getting a bunch of people cancel, and then it ends up being a day like today where we've now got some blue skies out here, I can post something on Instagram and say, hey, we're going to do this today.
Right.
And, call us now or DM me and we'll book you in. We do pretty well with it. And so, I'd really urge people to follow us on Instagram. And, I do send out, we have an email database, kind of old school email marketing. Between that and an Instagram, that's our advertising. We don't advertise, and we don't have a marketing agency that we use.
Larry Froth.
Larry Froth. It's all between these two big ears of mine, and it's super casual. Everything. My grammar is terrible. I send out emails at like are run-on sentences, and instead of like commas or periods, I dot and keep it going. But it's
the hook, though. It's the hook that keeps you coming back.
Yeah,
this is
just
probably my
casual,
4th visit now to Copetown. And, this is one of the only courses, too, I think, that I've seen you post events and stuff for non-golfers. Like, again, this patio is probably 100 feet long, and it's beautiful. You get to sit out here. I know people have said that they've just stopped in for food before. The food's incredible.
The first time we met, you drove from Oshawa with your pregnant wife.
Yeah.
To have a picnic.
Yeah, we went out and had a picnic right over here. It was great. It was awesome.
No,
didn't even play the course.
No golf allowed, but you came out, you saw the golf course.
That was the first time I was here. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, here we are on December 16th, and we're kind of checking things out. So, again, the website, anything to get a hold of Barry on Instagram, I'm going to put it in the show notes below, so you can just kind of simply click a link, go over and check it out. Peak rates in the middle of the summer?
Peak rates were 64 during the week, 74 on weekends, walking. HST on top. Taxman's got to get his take, and but we go we're Monday to Friday. We've got early bird before 9 a.m. That we charge $50, which it's tough to beat that one. So
All right, I think that's good.
Cool. Well, listen, thanks, and time to grab your sticks, and
I think we got to
go out
and hit a couple shots here.
Don't hit. It's getting a little chillier. Don't hit a 4-iron because you might your hands might rattle
the hands a little bit. But Barry, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate this.
It was great.
All right, let's go and play a couple holes.
Thanks, man.
Beauty.